Hey, hope you're all doing well. As we all know, the cost of living has been skyrocketing worldwide. So in this week's video, I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of what it costs us as a family of 3 to live in London in 2023. So if that's something you're into, then go ahead and just continue watching. So in one of my previous videos, I kind of explained to you guys our living situation and why we don't have any rent or any mortgage at the moment. So I won't be getting into that. If you wanted to know the reason and all of that, you can go ahead and check out my very first video on this topic. So the biggest expense most persons would have is in regards to accommodation, and that can come in multiple forms. You can either decide to go the buyer's route, where you decide to buy a property outright, or through a mortgage, or in most persons' case they would rent a property. So renting a property can take two main forms. You can either decide to rent the full property outright, either online through sites like spareroom.com, or just going into your local solicitor and presenting your documents, and then they would source the accommodation for yourself. Or the other rental option that is very common in London, I'm not too sure about outside of London, but in London, is for persons to rent a one room in a flat. So that can be in a flat or in a house. Typical houses have 3 bedrooms, so you might be one of 3 tenants residing in that property, sharing both bathroom and kitchen. Or if you're lucky enough and you have that extra cash to spare, you can also rent a 1 bedroom with a ensuite. So when it comes to renting, the prices range from like £1,500 to £2,000 if you're deciding to rent a room, just a room. That also varies, because bear in mind the price to rent, at times it can factor in council tax and service charge if it's a flat/apartment. So those are things to bear in mind when you're renting. Just always ask them upfront as well what costs are included in the rent, because there's so many living expense when it comes to living in London. So you just want to be upfront and have a clear idea of what costs you are supposed to factor in. Okay, so speaking about rent now, I think it's only fair for us to move on to like some of the expenses that you might encounter due to housing. So I did mention council tax just now, so let's just get into that and talk about it a bit. So London is broken up into different boroughs, and the boroughs are managed by the council, and every household pays a tax to the council, and that is referred to as the council tax. The council tax does covers a large amount of different services that residents can benefit from in that council, in that borough or council, whatever one you want to use it. Kind of persons use it interchangeable. So the charge does cover stuff like adult social care, school services, park, road services. What else is covered? Maintenance, garbage collection, stuff like that. So yeah, a council tax is payable each month, or you can pay the fee up front annually to the council. So for us, we pay £166 each month by direct debit to our local authority. So this is payable by each also from once you're not exempt. Otherwise, from exemption, there is council tax discount that certain persons qualify for. So if you are elderly, then I think that's one of the group of persons that do qualify for council tax discount. And then also if you're single. So all my single people, if you're there by yourself, then definitely go ahead and make your local authority know that yes, it's just me, I don't have a partner, and get your council tax discount. It's not massive, but it does make a difference. So yeah, that's it for council tax. If you do want any information, just Google whatever bar you're in and call them, and yeah, they should be able to tell you if you qualify or not. So another expense that you will encounter is electricity. For electricity, we are currently paying, well, the last bill that came was for £206.35p. December to January, that was for £315. So as you would expect, in the summer you're not using that much electricity, you don't have the heater on, you can put your clothes outside to dry. So yeah, we are basically paying £100 less because it's now warm. In addition to property related charges, we do have a service charge because we live in a apartment building, and for that we pay £112.28. If you're a mom or a parent, the second largest expense you are going to encounter is childcare. Unless you're fortunate enough to like have free childcare, you have your grandparents or some aunt or somebody living with you that can provide childcare, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. So childcare in the UK, it does vary depending on the area that you're living in, and basically the more affluent the area is, the more expensive it's going to be. The closer it is to like the town center where you know like the train and most persons are in that area commuting to work, then it's going to cost you a bit more. So at the moment I'm not paying for a nursery fee, but when my son was going nursery, the nursery he was going to, I should say, at the moment they are charging £298 a week. So in the UK as well, you do get 30 hours free childcare. So working parents do get 30 hours free childcare once the child turns 3, and then if you aren't working then you get 15 hours. But just bear in mind that these free childcare hours normally has different stipulations on them. So I know for my son, they used to work it out like what time you could start if you're doing just the 30 hours free. If you are paying for extra hours, then they allow you to come whatever time from opening, which could be like from 7:30, and in closing, which would be at 6. But if you're only using the 30 hours or the 15 hours free, then they have stipulations that you could only come from like 8 o'clock, and then you'd have to pick up the child at about 12 or 1 for some nurseries. So just double check with the nursery that you're deciding to send your child to what's the stipulation when it comes to the free childcare hours. To also reduce the nursery costs, you could also sign up for tax-free childcare. That's where the government gives you a 20% top up. So you would have to create a GOV childcare account. You'd pay for the nursery fee, you pay your 80% into that GOV childcare account, and then within 24 hours the government would top up the 20%, and then once the money is in the account, the full 100% is in the account for the childcare fee, you could then transfer it over to the childcare provider. It's a bit long-winded, but you're saving money, and why not just do that extra little step to save yourself 20%? I know they do have it for childminders and then after school club as well, but when it comes to after school club, I find that most persons at the school don't really know how to utilize that service, so sadly we're missing out on that 20% saving. Okay, so as I said earlier, my child isn't at nursery anymore, so he's going to primary school, the first grade, which is reception. It's called reception in the UK. So for that we have to be sending them to wraparound. So they have wraparound club. So wraparound club, they do have 2 different sessions, one before school starts and one after school finishes. So school starts at 8:45. I'm bad at this because like we never bring him to school when school actually starts. He uses both wraparound sessions, so I don't really know when school starts. That's bad. I think it's 8:45 and then school finishes at 3:45. Listen, don't come for me. There is after school breakfast wraparound and then after school wraparound, and this just allows working parents the flexibility, to the option to drop them off before school actually starts. Because just imagine school starts at 8:45, you need to get at work at 9. How would that work? Unless you're working next door to the school, like 15 minutes commute, that's impossible. So wraparound for my son starts at 7:30. So 7:30, that just allows you time to drop him off there and then enable you to commute to work. And then after school club starts from when school finishes at 3:45 until when 6 o'clock. So wraparound would be from 3:45 until 6. Again, this just allows you the flexibility to commute from work and have adequate time to still get your child in the afternoon. I guess if you wanted to save money, then you could possibly work around it, because like for myself, I work from home 3 days a week. So if I really wanted to push it and then like save as much as possible, then we could not send him to a breakfast club. But then you have to factor in like, oh, what is the pros and the cons? So I know for myself, like if I send him to a breakfast club in the morning, then that just allows me time to get a little workout in before work actually starts. And to be honest, he loves it there. So he's the only child, so going there, it just allows him extra time to play with his friends, and then in the afternoon as well, extra time again to play with his friend, because if he comes home, it's just going to be us, 2 adults, 1 child. Like, it's not the most ideal situation. Wraparound club for summer 2, this session that we're in now, this term that we're in, summer 2, they charge us £480, so you have to pay the fee in advance. So the fees are issued every 6 weeks when a new term is about to begin. So how they broke it down is, for breakfast club, 1 session is for £4, and then for after school club, 1 session is for £10. So you have to decide in advance how many sessions you want. So yeah, I think the way they set it up is very ideal for like working parents, so you have the flexibility to know that, yeah, you just pay this bit extra and you're still able to work full-time, because if not, I guess most persons would have to work part-time just because of when school actually starts and when it finishes. Okay, so moving on to sticking along with the old childcare costs, we also decided to send our son to tutoring. So yeah, I wasn't aware of this, but like the more you like evolve and you're like talking to different persons and you kind of get a gist of what they're doing with their children, you're like, oh, okay, this is what such and such is doing and they're performing well. They've moved on to Cambridge, or they're moved on to XYZ university, or in general they're just like at a grammar school, or they're just performing well, their child is so well spoken. You're like, okay, I'd like the same for my son. So I did decide to send Dominic to tutoring. At the moment he's only focusing on English because I don't want the added pressure. So for tutoring we pay £185 up front, and that is just 1 month payment, 1 month in advance payment, and then also subscription to get the booklet. So they get this is a workbook that he has to do every day. So the tutoring is on Saturday, and then he has to get a workbook for each day until the next tutoring session. And then from the £185 up front, on a monthly basis you pay £70, so it's £70 a month going forward. But yeah, I think that is beneficial, and it's just something added for them to like stimulate their mind, different group of children and stuff like that. Okay, moving on from tutoring, there's also a holiday club. So remember, school gives holiday every 6 weeks. Sometimes it's for 1 week, sometimes it's 2 weeks, and then over the summertime it's going to be for 6 weeks. So if you're a working parent, what are you going to do with your child? You can't be using up all, well, I don't want to use up all my holidays entitlement for childcare. I might use the odd 1 day here and there or half day, but I'm trying to preserve the holiday entitlement as much as possible. So for that, there's also holiday clubs. So holiday clubs, the price does vary depending on the area you're in and the different activities that you do want the child to partake in. So if you want to go to, okay, so for example, there's a little private one close by to us, or there's also one at the leisure center, and then there's also one at the grammar school. The grammar school, you know that they're going to have a bit more activities and stuff like that. So for that one, I think it's £70 a day. The one that my son actually goes to is for £25 a day. It was £30 before when he was under 5, and then now he's 5. You got a slight discount, it's now £25, and then for the leisure center they're charging £30. So you just have to weigh out the pros and the cons, which one you think your child would be more benefit more from. And for us, the private one, they go to the cinema, they go to the museum, they have different science activities that they do, science experiments. Like, I feel like it's value for the £25. So I'm not mad at paying the £25. It's a cheaper alternative, but cheap and cheerful. So for us, even though I only work in the office 2 days a week, we'd still go ahead and send him in the holiday clubs for 3 days. So 2 days when I'm in the office, and then 1 extra day when I'm working from home. Because if it was the full 3 days, it would be a struggle. Sometimes, like, I'm not going to lie, we have sent him to the holiday club for like the full week, and to be honest, he looks forward to it. So I don't really feel bad about it or anything like that. He has other kids there, again, interacting with, and as I said, they do a lot of experiments and stuff like that. So yeah, £25 a day, but just bear in mind that the £25, it doesn't include food, but you just need to pack their lunch, give them like a good meal, some pasta, sandwich and stuff like that, fruits, and they're good for the day. Okay, I think that's it when it comes to childcare and school related stuff. Extracurricular activities. So my son, he also goes swimming at the leisure center, and that is £30 50p. I think before it was like £28 thereabouts, but there's been a slight increase. So swimming at the leisure center once a week, that is £30 50p, and that's for the month. Then for myself, I also go to the gym. So my gym membership at the leisure center is for £37 a month. And then in addition to that, I also have class pass, and that is £69 for 52 credits. I think at the beginning of this year, I was telling you guys that I was on a, what was the name of it, fitness challenge thing. So I wanted to stick with that gym, but then the amount that they were charging me for just like one session, I worked it out, and if with class pass I can still go to that gym that wanted to charge me like £90, £95 a month to only access one class a week. So I worked it out, and then with class pass, it just allows me to still go to that gym. I can visit there 3 times a week with the credit, because they're always giving sales on the credit. 3 times a week with my credits, 52 credits, and it works out way cheaper. So instead of me spending £95 that they wanted me to pay for only accessing one class, I can pay for my class pass membership, get 52 credits for £69, and I'm able to visit that class 3 times a week. So yeah, class pass, it does have its benefits. So if there's any fancier gym, any special classes like Pilates, yoga, hot yoga, what else I've tried with them, cycling class that you'd want to join or visit, cycling bar classes, just get yourself a class pass. It's so much cheaper. It works out so much cheaper than having these individual membership. And then if you want to just get a little workout in between, you can just always refer back to your old gym. So in between that, I still go to my gym. When I'm up for it, I'll go to the class pass, push myself for the 3 times a week. Yeah, it's more beneficial than just committing to one single place. If you're somebody that's like get bored easily like myself, like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I can't be bothered with this, so you can easily change over to F45, or you can go Reformer Pilates. It's so handy. So yeah, loving class pass. I'll put my class pass like share link down below, so if any of you are interested in joining class pass, please use my link. Please let me get those little points. Thank you. Okay, so when I do go in the office, I take the train. So for transportation, each journey costs me £5 10p, and to be honest, I just use my bank card and tap in. I know that you can get a Oyster card. I think an Oyster card now is probably like £7.50 to buy it, and then you have to tap it up on top of that. But I don't really see the benefits of getting a Oyster card. What I would recommend is, if you have a bank card, just go onto the TFL website, register your bank card, and then like myself, if you're someone that's forever running late and the train is coming, you forgot to tap in before you got on the train, then go on the website. They will charge you the full amount. I think sometimes it's like they overcharge me and charge me like £13 something for that day, but I just go back onto the website, and there's going to be like a red word saying like incomplete journey. Click on it, put in where you're coming from, and it would already know where you tapped out. If you did tap out, you would have. I don't think you can. Yeah, you would have. And then they would reimburse you the difference. So yeah, just a little pointer for you guys. Okay, when it comes to transportation, if you're someone that is going to drive, you need to factor in the different charges that comes into play. So in London, there's two main charges that you might encounter, and that is ULEZ, that is ULEZ charge, and that is just air quality charge. So the Mayor of London is trying to ensure that there's limited pollution as possible, and they're saying that a lot of these diesel cars does contribute to the pollution in the city. So since like from last year, they announced that outer London, before it was like inner London, now they're going to extend it to outer London. There's going to be a ULEZ charge to drive certain cars. So just go online, Google, and see if your car meets the criteria. If not, you will be charged £12.50 from the 29th of August. So in London now, a lot of persons have to be changing out their cars to ensure that it complies with the whole ULEZ charge that will be implemented very soon. Another charge that you may encounter if you do decide to like drive into the city in London now. So it covers like Westminster, Soho, Covent Garden. If you decide to drive in that area, you will be charged an additional fee, and that will be £15 a day. So let's talk about food, because regardless of your situation, everyone has to eat. So with us, the price of food does fluctuate a bit, and I think that's mainly because like we visit so many different shops. So we go to like main supermarket, which would be like Lidl, Sainsbury's, or Morrison's. And then in addition to that, we also go to the markets, the foods market, and Costco. So at the regular supermarket, I try to do that every other week. I'm trying to reduce wastage and like buying unnecessarily, and like, yeah, mostly for the wastage, because if you're going every week, are you eating all the stuff? Like, no. So every week I go, like the price, the amount we spend varies from like £80 to £100. And then in addition to that, now we also go to the market. You know, we're Jamaican, so like we have to go and get our yam, sweet potato, fruits and vegetables, scallion, onion, thyme, all of those stuff, and we get that at the market. So for that, my husband normally spends around like £70 to £80. And then in addition to that, now I go to Costco once a month, and I don't go to Costco doing no big old shop coming out with no trolley full of stuff. I mainly go to Costco just to like top up on water, laundry detergent, fruits, nuts, and stuff like that. So yeah, for that I might spend like £70 to £100. £70 to £100, and I can't even say that's every month, because the laundry detergent, they last me so long. So I go, when was the last time I went? Probably ending of May. No, Easter. I went to Easter, and I haven't been back to buy like any detergent or anything like that. So that does last a good while. So I can't even say like, oh, that's monthly. So yeah. But for food, that's how much you spend on a weekly basis. £100 every other week for regular grocery, and then £70–80 at the market. I think the only other thing that you really need to factor in when it comes to cost of living in the UK is healthcare. So for the most part, healthcare is free. But when it comes to like dental care, you do have to pay a fee for that. So that's the only thing that isn't completely free when it comes to healthcare in the UK. So for dental care, there is two routes that you can take. So you can go to any dentist and say to them that you want to be registered as a NHS patient. NHS patient, that is the health system over here. If you want to register as a NHS patient, I know at the moment most dentists are saying that they aren't accepting NHS patients. But if you do get lucky enough, because I think people realize that I was registered as a NHS patient, because when you are pregnant in the UK, you get free dental care. So I did go ahead and register with the dentist nearby me, and turns out when I went back the other day, I was calling around like trying to register with different dentists, and then I'm like, oh, let me just call back my old dentist. Turns out I'm an NHS patient. So the one near to me now, they were going to charge me £80 to just do a regular checkup, but because I'm an NHS patient, with my old dentist, they said that, oh, it would be £20, £25.80. So if you can register yourself as a NHS patient, go ahead and do so. If not, then regular checkups would be from anywhere from £70 upwards. Okay, again, if you are an NHS patient, these are just the different charges that you may encounter. So band 2, so that's anything that includes filling and stuff like that, or extraction. I think extraction comes under band 2. That would be £70 70p. That's if you're NHS. Band 3, that would include filling and stuff like that. So I recently had to do a filling. So the filling that they're giving you under the NHS ban, NHS, if you come under NHS patient, it does have a silver lining, but I didn't want to go for that one. But if I did go for the NHS one, I would only have to pay £306 80p. If not, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. It's going to cost you a pretty penny. So for filling, no, sorry, for a crown, to get a crown done, non-NHS, that can cost you from anywhere from like £600 to £1,100. So if you don't mind the silver lining and that's something that you really want to do, then just go ahead and get it done under the NHS. It would be like 50% cheaper. So yeah, that's all the costs that you really have to factor in when you're living in London. Yes, there are additional stuff like, oh, subscriptions. You have Nespresso subscription, Netflix, Hulu, so many different ones at the moment, but those are just like added luxuries. They aren't really needed. But yeah, comment down below and let me know what you think about these costs.